Okay, good.
Okay, so it's a GBO special meeting now to cover a couple of items. It is May the 2nd, 2023 at just after noon, so I will declare this meeting open at 12:03. Good Board of Supervisors committees and subcommittees are subject to the Alaska Open Meetings Act as found in Alaska Statute 44.62.310 and Anchorage Municipal Code 1.25. Public meetings, Girdwood Board of Supervisors operates under the Girdwood Public Meeting Standards of Conduct. Let's do a roll call. My name is Mike Edgington, I'm co-chair and land use supervisor, and I'll let the others go.
Brianna Sullivan, co-chair, Parks and Recreation and Cemetery Supervisor.
Guy Wade, Fire Department.
Thank you. So we have 3 people here, which is a quorum. I'm assuming no disclosures, so we'll just move on to the agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve today's agenda.
Move to approve today's agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Public's encouraged to ask questions and provide comment. Please raise your hand physically or virtually and wait to be acknowledged. To help discussions stay productive, direct your comments to the board rather than other members of the public. Keep the comments focused on the business under discussion, and please be respectful of everyone's opinions. So agenda, we're going to go straight into the discussion of the GBOS resolution for the area-wide cemetery power. So this is the main reason we have the special meeting, because this is going to be discussed on the May 9th, I believe, assembly meeting. So we would like to have this out in time. Do you want to take this, Brianna?
Sure. Thank you all for meeting today really quickly, I hope. And this came as a surprise to everyone that's been involved. Even member LaFrance said she didn't know it would be so soon on that day. She didn't know till later that day. So it's brought forward by Chair LaFrance and member Kevin Cross. And I think Dean Gates wrote this, and the AO is addressing the power to, I'm getting an echo, so I'll try to just, the power to exercise an area-wide basis for cemetery function. And it's great news, so it would help all of us, meaning the efforts that were made the last few years and especially last October. So I've written a draft resolution. It is kind of lengthy, but Margaret trimmed it to 1 page. But it's still kind of missing one statement about preserving the remains of our dead and loved ones or family or whoever, and bringing up space that is limited at the Anchorage Memorial Park. So, and Bill Falsey thought this looked good, the one by Dean Gates. So I would move my resolution, and then I do have amendments.
Thank you, Brianna. So I'm going to ask anybody, i.e. Guy, if he wants to second this.
I will second this.
Thank you. And Brianna, you said you had some suggested change in language.
Yes. I'm trying
or addition.
To find the other. Yeah. So on the 6th whereas is the statement that we're trying to emphasize the importance of having a cemetery. And so I'd like to replace the 6th whereas with the phrase, whereas cemeteries are essential infrastructure in our community and providing a place to honor our dead with a final resting place is our duty and responsibility.
Thank you, Brenda. Do you have that in writing that you could share with either Kyle or Margaret?
I did send it earlier today, and I think I said providing just now, but perhaps I wrote provide when I sent it to Margaret.
If either of you, sorry, if you have that available on the screen, just so we can just check the language.
Yeah, provide instead of providing. I could read it again too.
It's still in my email. I don't think that I sent it over to you.
Well, that's okay. If you just read it again, Brianna.
Okay. Whereas cemeteries are essential infrastructure in our community and provide a place to honor our dead with a final resting place is our duty and responsibility. And still sounds funny
Okay,
to me.
so that's replacing not the sixth whereas.
Right, that was saying providing a public space to honor and
Okay.
recognize life then.
Okay. Guy.
Open to edits.
No, that was my question. You just ask it, Mike. Is it going to replace that sixth whereas or so? I thought it was, but just verifying.
Okay, great. It sounds fine. It would be easier if I could read it as well, but it definitely sounds good. I did like the term in the original about ensuring the equitable opportunity to be laid in rest and perpetuity. I like that phrase, but I don't mind if it's replaced.
I did too. I'm totally open to reformatting that sentence.
How about if, I think we could approve this in concept and just work on that paragraph a little bit.
Yeah, so it contains both
Mhm.
ideas, but it's tied together. That's fine.
I
I think.
Tommy O'Malley here.
Hi, Tommy.
I think the equitable opportunity is important because this is a public cemetery, and everybody can be buried here, even Irish people. You like that? I mean, there are cemeteries where only Christians can be buried, and
Yes,
this is
yes.
a public, and it spells it right out. It's an equitable opportunity, for everybody, or something about equal. We're all equal in life, in death, anyway.
And death, yes, especially in death. Okay. I don't
Thank
think
you,
we've.
Tommy.
I don't think we've technically had this seconded, but if you want to, if you just want to continue your thought, Brianna, and then we'll go through the formality of seconding the amendment.
I would insert public before place and equitable before honor, just if that helps. And then we'll entertain the second.
Okay, I'm a little confused about
Yeah.
whether we have specific language or whether we're still talking about incorporating both contexts, both concepts, and then letting you and Margaret sort of finalize the language. I think I'm comfortable with the latter.
I am too. I think it probably hard to do this on the fly. I mean, they probably have better product if they did the latter.
Right. So I think what we're doing here is the
Go back to the
amendment.
first
The amendment would be to take the concept of the last clause in number 6 as exists, and then add that into the proposed replacement. But we'll let the final editing be done by Margaret and Brianna. So if that's a fair restatement of the amendment, are you okay with that, Brianna?
I am. Thank you for clarifying.
So can we second? Guy, would you like to second the amendment?
Sure. Yes, I do second the amendment.
Okay, and then since you're both the movers and the seconders of the original motion, do you want to accept that as an amended motion? So effectively take it as a friendly amendment. In which case we just vote once.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So by definition, that's a majority, I guess. But we'll go through the formality of now voting on the motion to propose this. Oh, one quick add. We should have the actual AR or AO number available. I think it was mentioned in the meeting last week, but we should have it officially when the agenda comes out for next week. So tomorrow we should have that number. We can fill in the title. Can you do a roll call, please, Kyle?
Mike Edgington,
Yes.
Guy Wade,
Yes.
Brianna Sullivan,
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And it's great to see this moving forwards. We will now move on to item number 2. Consider a vote to appoint a representative to participate in the Anchorage Assembly Homelessness Committee. My recollection is this perhaps not quite so time sensitive, but I may be wrong. I think this was May the 26th is when we actually have to have this. So I would suggest, given that we only have 3 people here, it might be worth pushing this to our next meeting, either our next special meeting or even our regular meeting.
I'll move to push it to the next regular meeting, the item.
Okay. We can think about what we're going to do between now and then. It may actually be appropriate to, since these mostly community councils, it may be appropriate to appoint somebody who isn't necessarily a supervisor. I think we should consider that and discuss that next time.
Right, that was my question too.
I
Is it, yeah, does it have to
Margaret?
be?
Sorry,
Yeah,
Margaret, you have your hand up.
Yeah, thank you. I was wondering if this is a different committee than the one that Felix and maybe Voland were working on getting members of the public, or are there 2 different groups that are trying to be formed?
I'm not sure I understand what the other one was. I think this was the... Sorry, I'll let you go first, Brianna, because I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you. I tried to review it real quick earlier today. I think this one is pretty specific. It was inviting South Anchorage representatives, and specifically one representative from GBOS, to be a collaborative and not exclusive process. And it has a 4-phase approach. And maybe that sounds like the other committee. I don't know. But I think in his intent to have as much time as possible for the committees to select one person, the deadline is May 26th, and there weren't specifics on how often they meet or what days they meet. But if our board could just think about it between now and then, that'd be great. That's all I have.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. Any other thoughts on this item? Okay, so I will, unless I hear objection, we'll take this as an assent to move it to our next regular meeting. Not hearing any objection, let's move to our next regular meeting on, I believe it's the 15th. We will now move on to public comment. Persons offering public comment must state their full name and address. Public comments limited to 3 minutes on a subject not listed on the agenda. Do we have, I think we have 2 members of the public here. Would either of you like to make a public comment?
I would. Tommy O'Malley, Box 598, Girdwood, Alaska. I understand that on May 9th, the Assembly is going to vote on the Alaska ordinance, and I don't know the number of it. It's the one that includes cemeteries as an area-wide function. This is like a key, it's a key step in moving towards bonding, and it's everything that we wanted. One thing that will need to be figured out later is not operation of cemeteries, but maintenance. It makes sense, and we've talked about it before here, that it doesn't make sense for Anchorage to send down a plow truck to plow the parking lot at the cemetery, but that our parks and recreation or roads that kind of maintenance could be included in that budget, added to or coming from a cemetery budget to the plowing like that. And Eagle River understands that same maintenance issue and is taking that to their Parks and Recreation department so that their Parks and Recreation will be in charge of maintenance of the cemetery in Eagle River. But that's just something way down the line. This is that I got this on my birthday, and it was the best birthday, kind of the macabre, but wonderful. It's happening, and I'm so pleased.
Thank you, Tommy. Okay, if there's no other public comment, I will move to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you, Brianna. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, Tommy.
Bye.
Bye.